Hi, I'm John. I'm an English teacher and world traveler. This is part 3 of my Amazon experience in Peru. Welcome to Everything Travel with John.
And we are here in the exploration into the Pacaya Samiria, and so right now we are gonna try a medicine, a jungle medicine. So this tree it's called Ubos, and Mr. Alaco, so he's gonna try to get some bark, and we're gonna squeeze in our hands and we're gonna try it.
This specific medicine right here is used to cure diarrhea. Don't worry, it wasn't anything serious. Just trying it.
Yep. All right, here it is. All right, I'm gonna try this juice. It's bitter and heavy, and yeah, but it's good. My turn. All right, go.
It's very dry.
It's dry.
It's dry and bitter.
Yeah.
But maybe if you add it to, I don't know, some pasta sauce or something.
Walking around in the Amazon isn't just looking for animals. As we just saw, you can also find some different trees or species of plants that have their own special properties. Some might even be a little magic. Take this one for example. This one is used to build the houses in the Buenos Aires community and other communities in the Amazon, specifically the walls and the floors. Here's another one. This one is another type of medicine. When someone has severe malaria and the pills aren't working, they come to this tree, they take the heart out of the center, they make a tea from it, and it cures the malaria. My guide, Alaco, who we met in part 2, knew where to find and how to identify the different types of trees. He showed me different kinds of bark and wood used for medicines, drinks, and perfumes, which come from the Amazon. This one is chuchuasi, a word that comes from the Quechua language. It's especially useful for curing arthritis or other kinds of pain. As for the last tree, do you see that vine hanging? That's the tree I'm talking about, the Renaco. This tree is a parasite which attacks other trees. On the ground, you can see the remains of a dead tree that the Renaco already killed.
Right now I'm following my guide and we're going to find the biggest tree in the Amazon.
Okay, it's actually not the biggest, but one of them, yeah. This tree is huge. It's called La Ceiba, or in Peru, Lupuna. It's 20 to 50 meters tall, or about 60 to 160 feet. Here, you can actually see the Renaco attacking this tree. We ended up coming to a giant lake, and Alaco used his binoculars to spot some turtles in the distance. We also saw the biggest fish in the Amazon and some giant caiman. On our way back to camp, we ended up coming across some homes of giant otters. Unfortunately, they were probably out hunting or looking for some kind of food. Remember, in the Amazon, finding animals is all up to chance. You have to be in the right place at the right time.
We are going to find a jungle smoky frog.
Hold your machete. Take your machete and record everybody. But
Yeah. Right now we are going to find a frog. Let's go.
A coral snake, hidden under the leaves. And just like that, it was gone.
Yeah. Okay. Come here. Okay. Eso. Oh my God. Nice. Okay.
There is a toxin in the whole body. It's dangerous for your eyes.
Yeah?
This is the jungle, the smoky frog.
Okay.
But you hear the sound?
Yeah, sure.
This was making the same sound.
Interesting.
That night was filled with a lot of surprises, including this one, right outside my tent. The bullet ant. The bullet ant gets its name from its sting, which hurts as bad as being shot by a bullet. It's one of the highest degrees of pain that a human can feel. And after about an hour of walking at night in the rainforest, we returned to camp and found Bill, who had decided to go fishing. Day 5 was by far the hardest walk in the Amazon that we had. The ground was completely wet. I didn't like it, but in the Amazon, you have to be ready for anything. You might be wondering, why bother going if it's so difficult to walk? Well, there was a purpose. To start the morning, we were riding along in our boat when we saw another boat pass. The boat was coming from Buenos Aires, 2 hours down the river. I was told that they were looking for a fruit tree, deep in the jungle. The fruit was aguaje, a fruit native to the Amazon. So we decided to follow them and try to find them. After walking through that tough, wet ground, we met up with them. They had just climbed the tree you saw and cut down a branch, gathered the aguaje, put the sacks of fruit on their back, and started to go back to the boat. The best way to eat aguaje is to remove the skin with your teeth, and then you should spit it out because there's just so much of it. The inside is sweet and delicious, and of course it's very healthy for you. But honestly, it's a lot of work to get the skin off and get to the center. The locals are crazy about it. When we got back to the boat, we put some aguaje in some water in the sun and left it to rest so it could ripen faster. Then we said goodbye to the 2 guys from Buenos Aires and headed into a different section of the rainforest. Here we came across one of the strangest fruits I had ever seen in my life. Alaco broke it apart and out dripped this water. However, the fruit wasn't exactly ripe, so the water wasn't exactly tasty. After that, we went even further into the rainforest, and Kevin managed to spot something which was pretty interesting. Now, the last thing I wanted to do was bother this poor turtle, but on the other hand, how often do you come across a land turtle in the Amazon rainforest? He was surprisingly heavy, so we put him down and let him go, and he ran off in search of some water, which, of course, wouldn't be a problem. I'll tell you right now, you really don't want to get caught in the rain in the Amazon rainforest. Day 6 finally arrived, and I woke up nice and dry in my tent. I was a little relieved that it was my final day because I was tired of camping, but I realized that I had to enjoy my last day. The plan was to take the canoe down the river and meet up with our regular boat after about 2 hours of paddling. After that, we would take the boat to Buenos Aires and rest there a little before heading back.
Buenos días.
I brought my camera with the intention of making the most out of my final canoe trip in the Amazon. We finally arrived back in Buenos Aires after a couple hours, and it was our last stop before returning to Nauta and Iquitos. But there was time for one more surprise. It was Alaco's son, and he wanted to show us something pretty interesting. If you remember from earlier in the video, we met those two guys who were looking for aguaje in the forest. They had climbed the tree and then put the aguaje in the sacks and then walked through the rainforest back to the boat and then back to Buenos Aires. Well, we arrived too late to see them actually climbing the tree, and let me tell you, it's a pretty difficult process. Luckily, we have Alaco's son here in Buenos Aires to show us how it's done. Climbing to the top of the tree with his machete hanging off his waist, he cut the branches of the tree and the fruit fell right to the ground for everyone to enjoy. After 5 nights and 6 days in the Peruvian Amazon, I left with a new perspective on life. I'll admit, the Amazon quickly became one of my favorite places, if only because it showed me that there's still so much we don't know and so much to learn about our planet. I'm just the guy who travels and makes videos, but after visiting, I feel it's an obligation to mention that we have to do whatever we can to save this place. We've really just scratched the surface, and there's so much more it can offer. Thanks for watching Everything Travel with John.